What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Office Guys, and in today's video there are a couple of things I think we need to cover, first of which being addressing some of the stuff from my previous video talking about why people were canceling their pre-orders for Lightfall, and then of course a bit of a follow-up to that on a lot of the announcements and stuff that we are seeing for some huge changes that we will actually be receiving whenever Lightfall releases in February. But before we get into that, I would first like to go ahead and thank everybody for helping me hit 600 subscribers. That is a pretty big deal to me, so I do greatly appreciate that, so let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So the first thing I would like to address is some stuff with my why are people refunding Lightfall video. Specifically the fact that a lot of people were sitting there primarily thinking this video was nothing but a negative outlook on Destiny as a whole, when obviously that wasn't the case. The video was mainly to sit and basically point out that the game in its current state wasn't exactly what we were wanting as a player base, and a lot of people took that in an extremely negative way, and of course it wasn't actually intended to be that. It was to simply say that although things are in the current state that they are, and although they are negative, that players do need to just kind of keep their hopes up, because I do believe that whenever Lightfall was coming closer around the corner, we were going to be seeing a lot of drastic changes that a lot of players were going to love. And of course, here we are in that situation where we have seen Bungie essentially pull a No Man's Sky, where they kind of went rogue for a while, and now we're going and getting closer to the actual Lightfall release, and we are just getting absolutely dumped with W after W in terms of news and changes and stuff that we're going to be seeing for the game. So as I've mentioned to people previously, and as I will say again now, because obviously with a game like this where it does have a kind of live standing and we're getting different community changes and stuff like that constantly, just understand that no, I don't agree with how Bungie was handling the situation, but just be patient. This company is not stupid, especially with them being partnered with Sony now. They're going to have funding to do a lot more changes and a lot of bigger projects and stuff for the game in the future, so just be patient. Even if they are not communicating in the ways that we would, necessarily hope for or want them to, be patient. They're going to make the right changes in the end. But of course, what changes am I talking about? Obviously, there are a lot of changes that we have to go over. I'm going to just try to briefly go over a bunch of these as quick as possible. The first huge change going to mods and build crafting. I think that was an absolute huge win for Destiny as a whole. Build crafting is going to be significantly easier, as it should be. Elemental specific mods like firepower that are generally tied to only being used on solar armor are now going to essentially be accessible on every single element of armor, as the element itself of solar is no longer going to tie that mod down. So this is going to help build crafting as a whole a lot easier. It's going to make it a lot more flexible. People aren't going to have to farm so many individual sets of armor basically for each different subclass, or they have to keep switching the mods in and out to go to their different subclasses. This is just going to help individuals with their build crafting and a bit of a good ease of life type B that we're going to be seeing from this, to help people with their builds and mod management and stuff significantly easier. And of course that just generally ties into the ease of build crafting now. Build crafting as a whole is going to be significantly easier as well. And of course, with these direct changes to mods is what's going to directly impact build crafting as well. We're going to see it be more beginner friendly, and then also more creative for players that want to obviously try and create more unique and strong and different versatile builds. Now this isn't 100% confirmed or anything like that, but I want to personally believe that with all of the effort that they are actually putting into changing the way the builds and stuff in the game actually function, and wanting to kind of increase the diversity on which these builds are made and what builds are actually playable and meta or aren't meta, I would like to say that I think here in the near future, although again it is not confirmed as of this video being made, but I do want to say that I think we will be seeing lots of exotics in the near future, like Apotheosis Veil and different exotics of that sort that have been kind of labeled as useless over the past several years of Destiny's lifespan now, getting the reworks that they so desperately need, so that we once again can see new builds and stuff flourishing inside of the game. Also, another huge win is that blues will no longer drop after soft cap. I mean, there's really not much that needs to be said about that. That's just downright amazing. This one's a little more of a controversial point, but I think overall it is going to be healthier for the longevity of the game. Roughly about an hour before I actually sat down to start editing this video, there was an announcement that Destiny 2's resilience stat will be nerfed in Lightfall, going down from a 40% damage reduction to a 30% damage reduction at tier 10. So although tier 10 will now only be granting a 30% damage reduction, they are going to be adjusting the curve at which tiers actually grant certain values of of damage reduction. Trying to explain that as best as I can is what it is that at the lower tiers, you're going to see very large spikes in the percentage of damage reduction overall that you're going to be getting, and then the amount of damage reduction as a whole, percentage-wise, is going to be reduced as you get to higher tiers. So for example, we don't know what the values are yet, but if you were at tier 2, which say had a 10% damage reduction, and you got to tier 3, it would give you an 18% damage reduction, a relatively large jump of about 8%. In the higher values, for example, like say you had a tier 8, which would be like 26% damage reduction, and then you went to tier 9, it would probably only increase roughly about 2%, giving you a 28% reduction, because they wanted the higher tiers to still not only be valuable, but not essentially push Destiny 2 players to only be able to get max resilience at all times, as again, they're wanting the build crafting to be friendlier and a bit more creative and give the players themselves more room to actually make what they want to make. So again, some people aren't necessarily happy that it's going to be dropping from 40% to 30%. I don't think it's going to be that huge of a deal, because again, personally, I think what we're going to see as a bit of a side factor to this is that they are going to be forced, or again, I think they are already planning to go ahead and rework a bunch of the exotics in the game to give survivability and support a bit more of purpose in Destiny 2. That is pretty much all that I actually have to cover for you guys today, so if you don't mind and you enjoy this type of content, go ahead and hit that like button and that notification bell down below so you know when my videos go live, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you want to help be a part of this channel and support me in growing to 1,000 subscribers. But with all that out of the way, I will catch you guys in the next video.